What's up, guys? We're back with the Remedy Rebuild program, here to bring you the best knee workout you've ever had. All right, we're gonna start, as we always do, with workspace. I always like to begin with the spine, as it's kind of the center of the nervous system. We wanna get that fired up. So let's start with our quadruped, cat-cow segmentation, right? We're gonna focus on one area of the spine at a time. We're going to keep the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, pull the shoulders down, nice tight core. We're going to go tailbone to belly button only. Belly button to shoulder blades, all the way up, tuck the chin. Then we're going to untuck right, tailbone to belly button to shoulder blades, head comes up. All right, nice and slow. Let's keep working through this. Again, really want to focus on that segmentation, as well as when we find end range. Here I'm in flexion. I'm going to squeeze my core, really try to find max flexion in the spine. Then we're going to untuck. And same thing in extension, right? Squeeze the muscles in my back. Try to find some more extension, and let's get a few more. Nice and slow. Isolate those sections of the spine. Here we go. Let's get two more. And good. That's just an awesome one to do all the time. Just get that back feeling good. Let's get into the hips. Same quadruped position, right? If you've got a block, a book, anything really you can use to place on your low back, just to give us some feedback to make sure we're not compensating. Remember, 3 areas of compensation in the hip car. We're going to be first using the oblique, right? As my knee comes forward, I can shift that hip forward. Second, we're going to shift that hip up, right, as we lift the knee to the side. And then third and final compensation would be lifting the heel back and then extending the spine. We want to do none of these, right? We want to keep that low back completely flat. We're going to work the hip. Let's go knee to the elbow. Outside of the hip, squeeze as that knee comes around. Squeeze the glute behind you. Let that knee fall. We're going to go reverse. Glute first. Big circle out and around. Again, squeezing the side of the hip. Knee forward. Again, that yoga block is staying completely flat as my low back is not changing shape. Let's get 3 per leg here. So we are going to have some hip stimulus today, even though we are focused on knees. And the reason being, if our hips do not internally rotate, our knee is going to pick up the slack or pay the price. And we do not want that to occur, right? So we're going to make sure the entire chain is working nicely. Let's get that 3rd rep. Remember, big squeeze all the way around, finding all that tissue in the hip to fire it up. Okay. Now, if you haven't invested in one of these, I did. Great for balance drills, but also just general padding. We're going to work our level 1 knee cars in a half kneeling position today. So if you've been following me or taking my classes, I usually do level 1 knee cars in a seated position, but again, today we're going to work this half kneeling position because that's where our pales rails is going to occur. So we want to get used to this. So again, half kneel. I guess I'll face the camera here. I want this knee straight onto the hip. I do not want it to come out to the side here, all right? So we're nice and straight. I'm balanced kind of on my heel here. And now look as I can pivot my entire shin below my knee. Notice how my knee stays put, right? It doesn't kind of follow, right? I'm not using the hip at all here. I've got my knee perfectly still, and I'm just pivoting on the heel, right? Gliding the ball of my foot just off the floor. And I'm looking to rotate externally as far as I can, give myself a nice little squeeze, rotate back. Let's go for about 40 more seconds here, just getting those knees warmed up, as that is going to be our focus. Remember, give me a nice squeeze at end range. It's easy enough to rotate right, to find end range, this doesn't really do much. But if I really focus on finding end range, giving myself a nice squeeze, I can get those rotational muscles to fire up here. Slow, deep breaths. Got about 10 more seconds. Again, give me some good reps, some nice squeezes, both sides. And let's switch. So same thing on the other side. Remember, we're focused on getting the shin to rotate. You're gonna get most of your movement in that external rotation, right? Rotating out to the side there. And again, we're squeezing at end range. We're trying to flex all those muscles in the lower limb, right? Can I flex the calf, the shin, the quad, the hamstring? Just getting everything to move here. Really trying to find end range. Nice squeeze there. Woo. Left one. It's a little weird at end range. Here we go. 15 seconds, now it's warming up. You might notice that from side to side, you might have a little bit of trouble engaging. If you're new to this movement, it will feel strange, it will feel difficult. And that is 60 seconds there, that's what we just did. 60 seconds per side. So knees should be nice and warmed up. Let's get into the hips a little bit here. Again, hip health is directly related to the knee, specifically in internal rotation. So for instance, in this bear sit position, right, if my hip doesn't internally rotate, what's gonna happen? My knee's gonna open up here on the inside. For instance, in sport, right, if we're cutting, running, taking impact, and that hip doesn't have the ability to internally rotate, again, that knee is where the force is gonna land. So we want our hips to have as much capacity in that internal rotation as possible. Let's warm them up with a 90-90 hip switch. We've done these before, right? So again, I have one knee directly out to the side, one knee directly in front, 90 degrees in both knees. I'm gonna start by picking up that back leg as high as I possibly can. Get the squeeze in the outside of the hip, and now let's maintain the separation in the knees by squeezing both outsides of the hip, trying to separate my knees further as I transition. Now what that's gonna do is it's gonna land that original knee on the floor while this one's at end range, which is the goal here, right? So we're gonna switch nice and easy back and forth here. And we're gonna be here for 2 minutes. Again, sitting up as tall as we can. And keeping the separation between both knees, keeping that squeeze on the outside of both hips. And you should feel stretching or pressure kind of on the inside of your hips. You may travel across the floor a little bit. I know I do. Oh, I got something to pop. Here we go. We got about 1 minute left. Just getting these hips warmed up. Everything to move here, nice and loose. 30 seconds. Nice, smooth transitions. Again, we're always maintaining that separation. Nice squeeze on the outside of both hips. And let's get one more, both directions. Okay, hips should be nice and warm. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of today, working on those knees, let's hit workspace one more time. Again, we're focused on knees and hips, so that's where we're gonna be. Let's get into the hips first, since that's what we just did. We're gonna do our side lying hip car. Remember, in this side lying position, we can add rotational capacity. So we're gonna drag the knee and the foot up all the way. until our shin's at a vertical angle. I did almost forget, we want to block compensations. We're going to take a yoga block, a book, water bottle, anything you got. I want you to place it along the small of your low back, right on the floor, tall side. That way we have a point of reference. We want to keep our pelvis, again, our hips nice and stacked. That way we don't open our hips up to the ceiling, right? So this is going to prevent me from doing that. Now from here, again, drag the foot up, find that vertical shin angle. You're going to maintain. As you point that knee towards the ceiling, we get a pin in the knee. Rotate that ankle back, squeeze the outside of the hip, maintain that internal rotation, right? So now my ankle is pointed towards the ceiling. I drop the knee, I relax. We're going to go reverse, squeeze the glute, internally rotate, lift everything up. Keep that internal rotation as we bring that knee forward, externally rotate and extend. Here we go, 2 more. Knee and ankle up, maintain the rotation, internally rotate, extend, keep that internal rotation, let it drop, go reverse, extend first, internal rotation, lift, bring that knee forward, and externally rotate, extend, last one. Here we go, knee and ankle up, keep the internal rotation, externally rotate, squeeze, extend, let the knee fall, relax, go reverse, squeeze, lift the ankle, pick everything up, keep that angle, externally rotate, extend. Let's switch sides. Here we go. I'm sweating. All right, so side lying position, yoga block. Saved it. Maybe not. It's good anyways. Okay, yoga block on your low back. Here we go. Externally rotate, maintain that position, lift that knee, internally rotate at the top before you extend. Keep that internal rotation, let everything fall. Let's go reverse, squeeze the glute, internally rotate, maintain that shin angle right as we lift. Then we maintain that shin angle as we flex the hip. We externally rotate down and extend. Let's get 2 more. External rotation, pick the knee up, externally rotate, squeeze the glute, let that knee fall. Relax, let's go reverse, squeeze the glute. Lift everything up in internal rotation, bring that knee forward, externally rotate and extend. Here we go, last one. Maintain the external rotation, internally rotate at the top, extend with internal rotation, let the knee fall. Then we go reverse, squeeze the glute, keep that internal rotation all the way around, external, extend. Very good. Let's get into our level 2 knee cars. For this one, we're going back to our sort of original setup that we've done in previous classes, where we're going to be in a seated position. That way we can get flexion and extension. So I'm going to wrap my right arm underneath my right leg. We're going to lift, and now we're going to find external rotation of the knee, but first we need to block the ankle. Let's pull those toes up as high as we possibly can. Nice squeeze in the shin here. You're going to externally rotate as far as you can, and now we're going to lift until one of 2 things happens. Either you're going to lift and then you're slowly going to lose access to that rotation, right? So I want you to pause wherever that lack of rotation begins, right? So whenever that starts to slip, we're going to pause there. That's going to be the top of your knee car. Now, for those of us who can maintain that rotation, I want you to just find parallel with the floor. Then you're going to internally rotate, pull it down. Let's go out and up, in and down. Let's get 5. Again, focus on keeping that ankle blocked so we can get max rotation without compensation. All right, if we've got 5, we're just going to go the other way, okay? So we're going to keep blocking the ankle. We're going to internally rotate at the bottom, lift, external and down. Let's get 5 here as well. Again, focused on maximum rotational capacity here. Nice tension throughout the leg. Nice, let's go ahead and do the left side. Same thing, my left arm's gonna come underneath. We're gonna block the ankle, pull those toes up, start externally rotating, lift, in and down, out, up. In and down. Let's get 5. And again, once we finish 5, you're going to stay on that internally rotated side. You're going to come up, out and down. Left ankle always has something to say. All right, I think that was 5. Either way, knees should be nice and warm. Hips have been hit. Let's get into the good stuff. So I'm going to pull my knee pad back out. We're going back into a half kneeling position here. You can use a dowel if you need help with balance. This can take some pressure off of this planted knee as well. So again, the half kneeling position. Now we want to find that end range. I don't know why I do it at an angle. Point it at the camera. Let's find end range of external rotation. So again, I'm going to pivot on the heel to find end range external rotation. I'm going to set my entire foot down. I'm going to put a little bit of weight on it. And now from here, we need to stretch those rotators. So we're going to hang out. I want everyone to put a little bit of pressure into our Pales contraction, right? A progressive angle. And that's going to be attempting to rotate your shin back to neutral. Okay, nothing maximal here. We're just putting a little bit of pressure. And we're going to hang out here. So those of you who are familiar with Pales and rails, you know what's happening next. Again, we're in a submaximal Pales contraction here, which is attempting to rotate my shin back to neutral, but I'm going to plant my entire foot. That way that doesn't happen because we want this to be an isometric contraction at end range, meaning I do not want my shin to move at all. I'm just going to flex the muscles responsible for rotating that shin back to neutral. After the stretch is done, which is in about another 60 seconds, we will then hit the Pales contraction at maximal effort before we ramp into a maximal rails contraction, which will be picking up the toes and trying to rotate further externally. And I think a lot of us are going to be surprised that we can actually get further range out of our knee. So we got about a little more than 30 seconds here. Again, make sure we have that submaximal contraction. Getting things fired up. We're hanging out. Deep breaths. Keep that pressure on the knee. A few more seconds. All right, let's start generating more tension here. So this is a very light contraction. I'm going to ramp that up to 50% of my max. Again, I'm attempting to rotate my toes back to neutral, right? Back to its normal straight position here. Let's go 75%. Should begin to feel some pressure stretching in and around the knee. Now I need full body tension, all right? Deep breath, tight core, quads, glutes, both legs, both arms, squeeze everything in 3, 2, and 1. Give me max capacity, trying to rotate that shin back to neutral, pressing into the floor, squeezing and flexing with everything in the leg. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. We go rails. I pick everything up. I try to rotate further. Notice I've gotten more range now. I'm able to rotate a little further, but I'm holding at that max end range, squeezing everything. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. I trap this new range. I relax. Couple of deep breaths. We're going to do one more set here. Letting everything kind of calm down for a bit. We got 5 more seconds. Let's slowly start to build that pressure, right? Let's go 30%. Trying to rotate back to neutral. Let's build to 50. Let's find 75. Here we go. Deep breath. Core, quads, glutes, shoulders, biceps, triceps. 3, 2, and 1. Go 100%. Trying to rotate that shin back to neutral. Squeeze. Find everything in the knee to rotate, drive, and hold. Here we go. Keep the tension. We're almost done in 3, 2, and 1. We pick up the heel. We try to rotate further. Notice I got even just a little bit more range. I'm trying to squeeze. I'm trying to rotate. I'm holding all the things. Here we go. We are almost finished in 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Letting that knee chill out a little bit. And when ready, we're going to start the same thing on the other side, right? So I make sure my knee is nice and lined up, nice and straight. I'm going to pick up the toes. I'm going to externally rotate. I'm going to set everything down. All right? Nice deep breaths. 2 minutes here. And again, we need that sub-maximal contraction. I'm just lightly trying to rotate back to neutral. Starting to get that knee fired up. We're hanging out. So this is an extremely powerful exercise for the knee. A lot of injuries to the knee, unfortunately, occur right with an unexpected twist. Right, so obviously if we do not have a lot of rotational capacity, where you don't have a lot of space to rotate the knee, we're going to hit that end range very quickly. And if we do not have the strength to keep our knee from going beyond end range, that is where connective tissue injuries occur, right? And those are those ligaments that hold our knee together, those nasty injuries that can be quite tricky to come back from. But if we are coming back from this injury, or if we want to avoid it altogether, possibly both, we need to both increase capacity, rotational capacity of the knee, and then increase the strength at end range, both of which are done with this knee rotational Pales rails. So let's get it going here. We got about 30 seconds left. That's not correct. We have 90 seconds left. But yeah, extremely powerful exercise, often overlooked in physical therapy when recovering from said injuries. So it's just one of the most important things I think we can develop for the knee. And I think if you try it, you will agree. Got about 60 seconds left here. Again, make sure we're maintaining that subtle tension, trying to rotate that shin back to its neutral position. Deep breaths, trying to get everything nice and spicy here. "30 seconds left. Let's begin to generate that tension, right? Let's go 50%, trying to rotate that shin back to its neutral position, starting to get everything fired up in that knee. Let's build the 75. Now that we've hit our 2-minute mark, let's generate our full body tension, right? Deep breath, core, quads, glutes, shoulders down, biceps, triceps, 3, 2, and 1. 100%, trying to rotate that shin back to its neutral position, squeezing with everything in the knee, in the leg, right? Calf, shin, quad, hammy, in 3, 2, and 1. We lift it up, we rotate further, right? Squeeze and attempt to rotate further in that external rotated position. Drive, hold everything tight. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Now you'll notice on both legs, after round 1, going into round 2, I was able to get more rotation out of that knee. Pales rail is extremely powerful and very observable in the knee. A lot of joints we maybe can't tell that we're able to increase that range, but that's exactly what this exercise is designed to do. Slow, deep breaths. Here we go, let's begin. 30%, trying to rotate back to neutral. Let's go 50%. And let's find 75. Deep breath, core, quads, glutes, shoulders down, biceps, triceps, 3, 2, 1, 100%. Trying to rotate everything back to its neutral position, squeezing with everything in and around the knee. drive, fire it up, and hold. Here we go. You're almost done. Keep squeezing. 3, 2, and 1. We lift the toes. We try to rotate further, maybe get a little more range. Squeeze and hold in that externally rotated position. Keep firing. We are almost done. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. We relax. Knees should be feeling pretty spiced up after that in a different way than we are normally used to. All right, they should feel a little strange. Let's go back to our level 2 knee cars just to get those fired up. So again, we're gonna rotate up, internal, down, out, up, in and down. Let's get 3. And the other way, in and up, out and down. Nice tension in the system. Let's switch. Same thing here. We go out and up, in and down. And let's reverse, in and up, out and down. Very nice. Knees are nice and fired up. Let's get into a hip exercise real quick before we get into our last exercise of the day. So we're back in this 90-90 position. I'm gonna brace my upper body with a hand kind of on either side of this front knee. That knee should be right in the middle. Now I really wanna keep my back flat and my upper body still. So I'm gonna arch my back and I'm gonna use these hands as braces, right? My elbows are locked out. Now the exercise is gonna be in this back leg here. I'm gonna keep my knee on the floor. I'm gonna pick my back ankle up and I should feel a nice squeeze on the outside of the hip. If that tension kind of bleeds into your oblique and you feel that oblique starting to squeeze, that means we're compensating with the low back. Let's create some more space for that hip and you're gonna reach out further in front of you, okay? But for me, my range is here. We're gonna do some holds at end range. So I'm gonna pick that ankle up, squeeze the outside of the hip, and we're gonna hold at the top. Squeeze, fight for more range. Don't let your upper body change position. 3, 2, and slow. Deep breath, tight core. Let's lift, squeeze at the top. Hold it in range. Keep that hip fired up. Do not let anything go. Here we go. 3, 2, and slow. Let's get 5. Deep breath, tight core, tight quads. Lift, squeeze that side of the hip. Keep it tight, fight for more. 3, 2, and slow. 3 down, 2 to go. Here we go, lift, squeeze, fire up that hip. Hold, do not let it drop. Keep it going. 3, 2, and slow. Last one. Tight core, pick it up, squeeze, find the outside of that hip. Don't let anything else engage. In 3, 2, and slow. Very nice. We're gonna switch. And same thing here, right? I'm gonna brace my upper body. Nice and straight spine. Working that back leg, tight core. We're gonna lift. Squeeze the outside of that hip. Keep it fired up. Here we go. 3, 2, and slow. Deep breath. Tight core, we lift. Squeeze the outside of that hip. Try to find some more range. Keep that ankle off the ground. In 3, 2, and slow. Here we go, deep breath. Tight core, lift. Get that ankle up. Squeeze the outside of the hip. Find that tension. Keep it tight. 3, 2, and slow. That's 3 down, 2 to go. Here we go, deep breath. Tight core. Pivot on the knee, lift. Squeeze the outside of the hip. Hold at the top. Keep that tension. Here we go. 3, 2, and slow. Last one. Deep breath. Lift, squeeze, and hold. Keep that tension alive. Do not let it drop. Fire it up in 3, 2, and slow back down. Woo! All right. Hips are fired up. We have one more stimulus for the knee here. We're gonna do an isometric. This is a linear stimulus. We're gonna do 3 sets. And this is really good for kind of like general knee pain. Sometimes I get like jumper's knee, which is basically like phantom pain in the kneecap, maybe the patellar tendon. But again, one of my favorite exercises here to chase that out. So let's give it a shot. You're absolutely welcome to do this on flat ground. If you need, again, a dowel, a broomstick to support your balance, you can do that. If you want to add an extra balance challenge, which I'm going to try, we can throw our pad on the floor. We're going to find a split squat position here, right? So my feet are narrow. I'm going to take a step forward. My rear heel is going to be off the ground. I want to find dorsiflexion first. So I'm going to push this knee forward. Find that absolute end range, right? Keep that heel down. I'm going to drop this knee to where it's just above the floor, and now I'm going to press the ball of this front foot into the ground. We're going to go 30 seconds. All right, this should really get the quad and the front of the knee fired up. Here we go. Hold tight. Almost there. 15 seconds. We're halfway. Deep breath. Keep everything going. Almost done. 3, 2, and 1. We come out of that position. Woo! Very nice. 30 seconds is plenty. Now, 30 seconds doesn't get you fired up. Feel free to play with the time, right? We can go 45, we can go a minute. We can add weight. Again, there's so many options. We can add stability challenges. So many things we can do here. Narrow stance. I'm going to take that step forward. I'm going to start a little closer. Take that step, plant the foot. We're going to find end range dorsiflexion by pushing my knee as far forward as possible. I'm going to drop that back knee down. We're going to hold. Deep breaths. We're pressing the ball of the foot down into the pad or the floor. Squeeze and get that knee fired up. Here we go. Holding tight. Deep breath. Something just popped. Here we go. 10 seconds. Almost done. 3, 2, and 1. We exit. Hang out for a second. We got 2 more. Woo. Now, another thing you can do here is we can play with the angle of the knee. Obviously, in a higher position, it's not quite as much stress on the body to hold, but we do want to expose the knee to different angles with this isometric. So if that lower position isn't really hitting your knee in a spot where you feel pain, or if it's not effectively chasing that pain away, you can experiment with the angle of the knee as well. All right, let's go round 2. I'm going back to my right leg, taking that step forward, pressing that knee in front of the toe, dropping my back leg, pressing the ball of the foot down. Here we go. Deep breaths. Getting that knee fired up. Nice hold here. Good pressure. Past halfway. 10 seconds to go. Getting that quad fired up. 3, 2, and 1. Woo. All right, it's getting spicy. Here we go, back to the left. Narrow stance. Step forward. And dorsiflex. End range, press the ball of the foot. Deep breaths. Here we go, hanging out. Getting that knee fired up. Here we go. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, and 1. Round 2 is done. We got 1 more. Woo. Dare you to tell me this doesn't get your knees fired up. All right, let's get this over with. Last one, 30 seconds. Here we go, narrow stance. Taking that step. Dorsiflexion here. Drop the knee. Press the ball of the foot, we hold. Hanging out, maintaining that end range. Make sure that back knee stays off the floor. Getting that knee fired up. Halfway. Almost done. 3, 2, and 1. Woo! All right, we got one more. Last one, last leg. We go narrow. We take that step. We dorsiflex. We drop that knee, press the ball of the foot down, we hold. Deep breaths, hold tight. Here we go. Keep it tight, halfway. There's left one, 10 seconds. Almost there. 3, 2. Oh. All right, try that. Try to tell me your knees don't feel better. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.